On March 6th, we hired 8 new alternate response officers. 6 of them are diversity candidates, and they're all very incredible young people, and we're glad to see them start. They've began 11 weeks of training that'll be done in-house and in community, and so we'll see them out and about. A lot of their work is done on foot patrol, and so they'll be visible in the community very soon. They'll be, I think, very helpful in addressing some of the community needs in places like Riversdale, places like in and around the Emergency Wellness Centre as well. On March 13th, Inspector Pringle, the mayor, and I presented crime stats and operational plans at a Riversdale BID town hall meeting. The BID has had an increase in property crime during the first few months of this year. And so this was an opportunity for us to review trends with business owners in the area and to talk about some of the resourcing and preventative strategies that we have. The Wellness Center was discussed there as well. And at the last board meeting, we'd had about 30 days of data to examine to see what trends were occurring. Now we have between 60 and 70 days, so still a very small set of data, really hard to make long-term predictions from it. But what we've noticed now is that there's been an increase in social disorder calls, both in Fairhaven, which is the residential neighborhood to the west of the Wellness Center, and in the Confederation Shopping Center, which is that business district that sort of wraps around Wellness Center. So there's been a noted increase, a visible increase in, or a significant increase, I should say, in calls to do with suspicious person and disturbances, social disorder calls, we refer to them. As far as actual crime in the residential neighborhood, we've seen a small increase in property crime. And this is generally theft from motor vehicles or willful damages. There's parking lots to some of the apartments and stuff where we've seen some rashes of damage. So we've had a small increase, again, over a very short period of time. From the Confederation area where the business community is, we've seen that increase in social disorder calls as well. Some increase in low-level assaults and an increase in shoplifting generally to some of the larger stores that are there, particularly the ones that sell beverage alcohol. So we're monitoring that as well. We're trying different strategies around increasing and changing our presence, and we'll be continuing to evaluate it as the weather changes, as foot traffic or pedestrian traffic flow changes, etc. But our intention is to add additional resources, particularly additional alternate response officer resources now that we have some staff that are going to be available to us. So we've had occasions when the Wellness Center used their foyer sort of as a temporary shelter. People could come into the foyer area. They didn't have a bed, but they were allowed inside, and that was a dangerous situation because those people are not screened. There's no support for them. They're not staffed to handle those additional staff. And when they stop doing that overflow, the additional people that aren't receiving services go somewhere else in the community looking for support. And that puts pressure on other places like Prairie Harm Reduction, which are also already at capacity. And so we find ourselves responding, having to be mobile with our response depending on where the group that's left without resources attends.
And we're very active right now in talking to the province and talking to those ministers about how urgently we need to be working on these solutions. And the city will help, whether it's around identifying properties that could be utilized for this kind of housing or whatever partnerships, need to be put in place. So we need to all figure it out together.